today from a few days off, and we're getting back in the swing of things right now. Players aren't back till tomorrow, so don't have a lot of information for you there. We're expecting everybody back, and Josh included. So if you're going that direction, that's the information I have for you. And then I presume they've got some workouts in, and they're off time, and we'll come back ready to go. So with that, time's yours.
We'll go first to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Yeah, Coach, you kind of alluded to it with Josh. What's the reintegration plan with him? You sense that
Sure.
he'll be able to just get right back to start?
Yeah, I think, Pete, what we'll do is just see where we're at here. And, we know we've got a good player in there now, and we know what Josh is capable of and all that. So we'll just see where we're at when they get back.
We'll go next to Jesse Newell. Jesse?
Hey, Kelce, I have a follow-up too.
Just-
Hey, Andy, I wanted a couple just quick injury updates on guys. Isaiah, do you expect him back in practice this week? And then Jawan Taylor left the game against the Bills. What do you anticipate with him?
Yeah, well, I'll have to see on Pacheco. And Taylor was feeling pretty good by the time he got back here and had left. So I think we'll probably be okay there.
Okay. And a quick follow-up from the Buffalo game. When Pacheco was out, you guys elevated Clyde and left Elijah Mitchell on the inactives. Can you just go over the decision there to bring Clyde up for that game?
Yeah, so we really like Elijah, obviously, or he wouldn't be here, but I think that makes a big statement there. But Clyde is, he knows all the protections, he knows all that. Not only does he know it, he's done it. And so we've seen him do it. So there was a comfort there. Not that Elijah doesn't. He's a very sharp kid. So, but we just, we've seen, our guy do it. So that was the only reason why. But
We'll go next to Matt Derrick. Go ahead, Matt.
Coach, with Josh, how do you feel like the team has handled it, the coaches and the players alike, as far as Josh's departure and now his return?
Sure, Matt. Players always are concerned about other players' well-being. That's first of all. So, but on the other hand, they also move forward, and they don't necessarily look back. So they giddy up and go on what's there today, and let's go. And they go 100 miles an hour with that. But I think it's a blend, of things. They're not dwelling on that, but they want to make sure he's okay as a human being.
And coupled with that a little bit is, what was the kind of the process for Josh coming back last week? Was there anything, maybe differently that you did or the team did, players and coaches, to kind of get him back into the building and welcome him back?
Not necessarily, no. Yeah.
We'll go next to Sam McDowell. Sam?
Hey, Andy. Just along those lines, did he get some workouts in last week? Are you able to tell already what kind of football shape he's in already?
Yeah, Sam, I'm not gonna get into all that. I'm not telling you yes or no that he did, but I know he's been working out for sure.
Then just wondered, Jalen's played a few games now, and just wondered if you could just assess what he's done at left tackle for you.
Yeah, Sam, Jalen's he's done a nice job for us. I think just asking him to jump in after the season's been going for a couple months here that's a tough ask, especially against the D lines we're playing. But he's done a respectable job.
We'll go to Serin Petro next. Serin?
I got a couple of follow-ups as well. Coach, let's just start, first of all, with the playoff picture. You had a number of things that maybe could have helped you guys out this past weekend. Looked like it was maybe going to help you out. Didn't go that way. So, is there a sense of urgency about how far you are down the standings right now? And do you sense that amongst the entire organization, the players and everybody, how urgent the situation is playoff wise?
Yeah, sir. And I mean, in this league, I mean, every game's important, and so you've got to stay focused on that. And it doesn't matter what you project or what's happened before. You learn from your past and take care of what's going on today. We'll get the players back tomorrow, and then we're all in on Denver. So that's kind of where we're at. Is there an urgency? There should be an urgency every week. That's how this league is. There's too much parity in this league not to have urgency every week.
You guys have played a lot of games, right? Have had a lot of success. I mean, this is new for you, right? Being a 3-time champion, right? So has you noticed that, some of the guys that have been around and had a lot of success, that sometimes maybe they need a little bit more, urging, or like that the tank's just on empty because of all that you guys have accomplished?
Yeah, that's not how I feel. I feel like the guys have got good energy, and we just need to clean a couple things up, and we'll be okay there.
Okay. I know you've said a number of times there's only one football, right? So not everybody can have a giant day, but is it safe to say that you'd like to get Xavier Worthy a little bit more involved, and that would be something that could help you guys out as far as offensively, if he could be more part of the equation?
Well, we try to get them all involved the best we can. Some games you're just going to have that where, they're taking somebody away, and that's how it goes. That's happened. How the coverage goes. That's how the play call goes. So on. But we're not down on Xavier Worthy. We know he's a good player, and we like to get the ball in the good players' hands, the best way we can. So it just hasn't rolled that way.
It looks like Seren has one more for you, and then we'll go
That's
last
fine.
to Jesse.
Yeah, far away.
Sorry. Last one would just be Chris Jones. I mean, does he need to, find another level for you guys to be successful in the second half?
In the heart of autumn, the NFL trade deadline transforms from a line on the calendar into a living, breathing drama, and nowhere was this more evident than in the swirling saga involving Boye Mafe. Kansas City, a city where football aspirations are measured in Lombardi trophies, found itself on the edge of its seat. The Chiefs, led by the ever-brilliant Patrick Mahomes and the wily Andy Reid, believed they were a single defensive playmaker away from turning their already formidable unit into a force that could haunt offenses into January. Mafe, with a raw athleticism that had tantalized scouts since his college days, was the name on everyone's lips. Even the most stone-faced insiders couldn't suppress their excitement at the prospect of the Chiefs' defense getting turbocharged. Yet thousands of miles away in Seattle, a different kind of intensity gripped the Seahawks. The season had not unfolded as they'd hoped, with flashes of brilliance too often interrupted by moments of vulnerability. Mafe, expected to be a cornerstone, had delivered only glimpses of his potential. But inside the Seahawks facility, John Schneider was refusing to blink. The front office, faced with the decision to cash in on Mafe now or bet on his emergence, was running scenarios late into the night. Pete Carroll, never one to shy from a challenge, advocated patience. The phone calls from Kansas City grew more urgent, the offers more enticing, and yet, as the final hour approached, Seattle's resolve hardened. Stories began to leak, each more sensational than the last. Some claimed draft picks were flying across the negotiation table. Others whispered of player-for-player swaps that would shake up both rosters. The Chiefs' war room, so often the scene of jubilant celebrations, became tense as the deadline neared. Mahomes and Reid, usually fountains of optimism, watched the clock tick down with a rare sense of helplessness. Then, just as it seemed the trade was inevitable, Seattle slammed the door. The decision caught nearly everyone off guard. Analysts scrambled to interpret the move. Had the Seahawks simply gotten cold feet, or had they sensed something in Mafe that the rest of the league had missed? For Kansas City, the aftermath was a cocktail of frustration and determination. The defense, left unchanged, would have to find its answers without the injection of new talent. In Seattle, the move to keep Mafe was only the beginning. Almost immediately, Schneider orchestrated a surprising acquisition of Rashid Shaheed, sending a message that the Seahawks were not content to fade quietly into the background. The ripple effects of these moves extended far beyond the two franchises. League executives, always watching, took note of Seattle's boldness and Kansas City's willingness to push the envelope. Fans filled social media with theories and speculation. What if Mafe had landed in Kansas City? Would he have been the missing piece, or would the pressure have exposed his flaws? For Mafe himself, the deadline drama thrust him into a new kind of spotlight. Suddenly, every snap, every tackle carried a new weight. Would he rise to the occasion, proving Seattle's faith was well placed? Or would the specter of the trade that almost was hang over his season? The human element of the NFL, so often buried beneath statistics and schematics, was impossible to ignore. As November games began to stack up, the tension from deadline day lingered. In every Chiefs defensive huddle, the absence of a new face was felt, fueling a resolve to prove that they had enough within their ranks. In Seattle, Mafe's mere presence on the field became a statement of belief in development over quick fixes. The drama of the NFL deadline is that its biggest stories are often the ones that seem to vanish in the final moments. Yet those near misses define the character and future of teams. As the season wound on, both franchises embraced the uncertainty, knowing that in football, the next twist is always just around the corner. The saga of Boye Mafe was far from over. It had simply entered its next unpredictable chapter.